What's up, you ground humpers? Get it? Because you're all frogs to me here at Political Dank House. And did you know that if a frog had wings, it wouldn't have to drag its ass? Anyways, I hope everyone's having a blessed Sunday, and not just because it's Sunday. Every day of your life should be lived as if it is sacred to you, whether that pertains to faith, work ethic, or beliefs. So that's why I say it. But since it is the day of rest, I decided I would spend it talking to you all. This next week coming up, 40 hours at 40 hours. Let's see if I can squeeze in some of this stuff. So, we'll see. I wanted to delve into yet another dog-eared page in the saga of Chic-Fil-A versus I don't versus, but that's what the thumbnail says, but against neoliberal progressives. That's the two that clash all the time. And neoliberal meaning they're capitalists and stuff, right? They're using the capitalist system to attack. Chick-fil-A with boycotts and we'll do this, we'll do that, but they want to be socially liberal. It's the kind with the revolutionary spirit. They're always wanting to change things. Tranquility is not their strong suit. As nothing, if they have nothing, it makes them feel like they're uninspired. If somewhere it's not as much turmoil as like I would like to look at it. They look around for things they can quote unquote change and be a part of. They want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves, and a lot of those normie liberals, so to speak, that are getting left behind by the left, they still think, oh, well, I would like for everyone to get along. I would like for this to happen, and they're getting swarmed in too. And while y'all think about that, Political Dank House, there's the tags. Follow me, the crew, eventually the crew, all over the internet. This is the title, of course, Chick-Fil-A versus Chic-Gays. See, I did that alliteration. Y'all mad? But, these liberals want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and the other part of the higher-ups that, aggressively attack, it seems, they don't believe in tranquility because there's progress not being made if things are staying the way that they are, at least to them. A lot of these movements hold their ideology to a faith-level status as it guides them to mold world in the vein of their open, ever-progressive values and challenge to traditional status quo, which grows weaker every astroturf societal revolution. Talking about traditional roles and statuses and ways of thinking like I would call myself a trad, So, it's kind of like trend versus trad, but I digress. One of the best and most reoccurring dualities in a modern societal shift that I'm talking about is Chick-fil-A and militant homosexual lobbies, Hollywood, and other so-called tolerant organizations. And that's not to say every gay, of course. I showed you the last video with somebody shitting on me that was gay, apparently. And I'm talking about the movement. Sort of like with AIPAC, people say, oh, how dare you talk shit about the Jews, right? AIPAC is a lobby that has interest with Israel and the Jewish people here in America. It's the same thing. There's a gay lobby. A lot of people would argue there's a gay mafia. In the way you run Hollywood, you can't talk about things. Why do you think everybody all of a sudden overnight knew that Bruce Jenner was now Caitlyn Jenner, and no one said shit? Anybody that did got exiled or publicly shamed or thrown out. These lobbies and these ideological groups run a lot of things. And they're constantly trying to test their power with things like this. Chick-fil-A is a veteran in being culturally oppressed. Or not oppressed, but pressured, rather. And are always in a game of chicken with the gay lobby. See what I did there, chicken? Anyways, it's all about who's going to give. It's off and on, of course, but Chick-fil-A is the franchise equivalent to the Colorado Bakery. When you think about it, it was a little mom and pop business that they got in trouble because, they wouldn't bake a wedding cake. It wasn't any cake. And I'll get into this later on in this video. The Colorado Bakery thing was whack, and it went to the Supreme Court, and they knew it was whack. The thing is, there's many places you can get it. They always want to target the one. Like I said, that revolutionary spirit. They want to be known as, hey, I went up against this, instead of just going to the next door. It's not as exciting to go against the next door baker and to say, I want a gay cake, and he'll give it to you. who may be atheistic, meaning no religion, But they said they would still serve them cookies, cakes. Even they would order for parties. They would even bake the cake for them. They said the wedding cake. They just didn't want to put Adam and Steve, right, or two women's names getting married because they didn't support it. But that wasn't good enough. So it's about compliance, like force. But Chick-fil-A is the big franchise equivalent of, say, that one little Colorado bakery, because they're essentially going after them for the same thing, and the lobby, that is. And to anyone who grimaces at the term lobby, it's used for every group, not using it to slander. And the same works for words like regime. Everybody now says, "Oh, the Trump regime," or whoever right? This whatever state's regime, the Republican regime, and I know how they mean it, but I don't care, because regime, you look it up, it's a fair thing. It'd be like saying so and so's team. Regime's just used normally in like a king, fascistic, I'm the order type of guy. And that's the way they mean it, but, who the fuck cares how they mean it? It's just funny to watch them grimace at, oh my God, you're calling Obama the regime. You think he's a tyrant or something? Hating on the black man, and now, Trump's regime. And I'm not saying you can't say it, I'm just telling you you're stupid for the way you mean it, right? People love to flip out over the words used based off of who you're describing with it, like I just said. Like when you say, oh, it's the Christian lobby wanting to do this, or, oh, well, this is just a traditional whatever value lobby trying to keep our bathrooms boy and girl, they have a say, they want to, and how dare these companies want to say they're pulling out of Boy Scouts if they're made intersex. Because they were never meant to be that way. All the lobby, they always want a lobby. Republican lobby, conservative lobby, Christian lobby, the whatever lobby. But when it's their people, it's just a group. It's just, we're representing these people. It's almost like a lawyer, but in group form. Who's going to represent these people if we don't? And the reason this is important to me is because if places like Chick-fil-A are successfully attacked, then it won't be long till places like Cookout are targeted. I mean, that's a regional place around here. I'm from North Carolina. But, they have Bible verses on the cups they give out. It's not something like, God hates fags or anything, or, even Leviticus, don't be gay type stuff. It's just a psalm. Psalms is like the Buddhism of Christianity. Not, literally, but just if you think of the vein of peace, love your brother as yourself, hold every thought into captivity, evil thoughts make evil actions type of thing, And so if it's something that's the least controversial things in the Bible, they'll still go after it. And it won't be long till they go after that. It's just a styrofoam cup that they'll eventually throw away. It's just a nice little gesture decided on by the head of the franchise. They should take joy in the fact that if they don't like the Bible that much, they could throw it away, in a sense, in the trash and have that feeling, But people don't think in the ways of creation versus destruction. Like I said, the way of getting positive get back versus negative, where you look like an ass. The one who built Cookout from dirt, the guy who decided to make the decision that the verse should be on there, or he wanted it on there. He built Cookout, or any business, from dirt, invested his life, blood, sweat, and tears to create a food establishment that many enjoy today. I thought people were for the little guy and people working their way up from their bootstraps and all that. Must not have went through the right oppression, Wrong type of person to be financially suffering as he, made it work into the franchise that it is today. We'll forget the capitalism part of neoliberalism for the sake of, socially shaming Cookout or Chick-fil-A. When companies like Burger King or others really advertise lefty or SJW, lack of a better term, justice warrior, because people know it. They use those tripes in their ads, or sponsor an athlete who kneels for the anthem or other divisive and controversial acts like that. The worst you'll ever hear is, "I'm not eating there anymore." The most annoying thing about that side, meaning like right-leaning when it comes to economics, is that the most annoying thing is you'll have to hear them or read up all the people who are letting you know they're boycotting, which is kind of lame, I agree, but we've made this societally acceptable in the left and right to beat your chest to shit, right? But that's the most annoying thing you have to put up with, is someone letting you know they're boycotting. But it's still their prerogative. They still have the right to let you know, because that's saying don't eat here. People can't stand it when a ground level person says, I'm just not, I can't eat somewhere because of this or whatever, when it's just one person, because they might spread it to other people on Facebook or whatever. They might start a movement. But when it's AstroTurf, like a group saying everybody boycott Chick-fil-A, do this or that on behalf of us, on 1% of the population, it's all okay. It's all gravy, baby. So, but these people I'm talking about on Facebook, they just say, I'm not going to, or anywhere, I'm not going to eat there anymore. This is my individual decision. They're not using a lobby. They're doing their individual decision. They're not trying to change the business's management, employees, or the way that the company runs. They're just opting out of supporting it in the financial realm. And they're still, pertaining to their morals. The thing is, you're not going to see a lot of that, because that way of thinking, you can't say, oh, well, I did this, or look at what we've done, or I'm fighting for something. It's in the quiet. It's like donating. If you ever donate, and I have, you donate to places. I don't believe in, advertising it because you're hurting the other person just to lift yourself up. Their needs should be private, and their woes and all that, right? But see, liberals love that, because in the left, they love to be sanctimonious, especially now. They want you to know, we're helping this, we're helping that, we're a part of this. And it helps them in their sense. I don't know if they do this on purpose, or if they just don't understand that people can give without bragging about it. But they act like, what have you done lately? What have you done for this cause? There's a lot of stuff that I've donated towards and fought for, even not in my financial terms. The stuff you can't even document, like time and effort that you would never be able to write down and accommodate for. But if we didn't see you give money and you didn't brag about it, then you didn't do it. We didn't see you do it. And even when you do, it's like with Trump when he donates his quarterly salary as president. Because remember, they said he better not make any fucking money as president. He better not make any money. He's not making money. He's donating all, but he has to take $1 legally, so he's doing all that. But the $1, $399,000, give or take. I don't know how the taxes or anything like that would work on that. But he's doing that. Nobody wants to say anything about that. And a lot of that is like mental health and other things that people are supposed to be down the middle on. They can say, well, that's nice. They don't want to report on that. So it has nothing to do with you even vocally letting them know that you're donating. That's why a lot of people believe in socialism, whether they want to believe it or not, is that they don't think that it's fair that they donate to people unless somebody else has to. And they want to make sure it's someone like the government who has the monopoly on force to make sure if I have to give money, somebody else is going to. That's not how giving works. That's not charity. Charity is willful, doing it whether people can do it or not, or tell you to or not. It's like what I said one time about an alcohol type of analogy. If you want to quit alcohol, you don't go to a party and say, all right, guys, put the alcohol up. We are not going to tempt me. It's your personal decision. You should be strong enough to make that decision and hold it. Same with charity. You should be able to give money to people without expecting anything in return, without anybody seeing you do it, without being advertised, without, well, somebody else better have to do it if I'm doing it. If it's bothering you that bad, then don't give money. And that's what a lot of that stuff will design, especially with government. That's not a cause. A government's a faceless thing where you don't have a lot of cause feeling in it that you're fighting for. And so with the socialism thing, I used as the example, that would fall even worse, because a lot of people are going to say, well, if so-and-so is getting stuff for not working, then I just won't work, and the system will collapse. But to get back to my point, a lot of places like Starbucks do far left gestures that cause people to not want to support them. The only time Starbucks is vandalized is when Antifa comes through town, and they're so retarded and methed out that they start friendly fire on people who fund their cause through donations to groups that support them, Antifa. Either that or Starbucks is purposely being star-cucked by Antifa, allowing them to room to break shit like the government does with BLM, so they can look tough on TV, Antifa, because it's for the greater cause. Starbucks may want Antifa to look cool. Sort of like the people that say, well, no, we're not going to press charges because then that'll look bad. Like with Nancy Pelosi when, say, Laura Loomer got all those illegal immigrants to get on her front yard. She was caught in a bind because she can't also say we're for illegal immigrants doing whatever they want and then prosecute them for being on her property trespassing. So it was a lose-lose. Same with this. You want them to look tough on TV, so you don't want to prosecute them, because then they would look bad. But that person give them room to riot. That was in Baltimore. That was Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake. She stood up before the news cameras over the weekend of those riots and said, "We also gave those who wish to destroy space to do that as well." But that's what they're doing, with things like Antifa, these lefty people like Starbucks. All that being said, people of conservative bent who really like Starbucks coffee and products still go to their establishment and enjoy spending their money to get what they want, like any capitalist system. And if there are boycotts of Starbucks, it's never Hollywood-backed or union-funded or group or think tank. There is a no fuck Starbucks lobby. The worst Starbucks had to deal with was customers going in and ordering with the last name Trump or other conservative figures like Censored Voices and stuff like that. In order for the stunt to work, the right-leaning customers still had to spend their money to the establishment to get the product, to get them to even say, "I'm looking for a Dylan Trump." That was a protest at one point, in a sense, not sanctimonious, but, just like a ha-ha. And they still had to pay for it. They weren't running in there with signs saying, yeah, this, that, whatever, right? Disrupting the peace. Chick-fil-A is a Christian-centered workplace, and work vision-wise. This is known. It's like going to a steakhouse and being surprised that the chef isn't a vegan. They don't really want to take Chick-fil-A out in the business sense, I don't believe, because their food is the bomb. My opinion, of course, is that it's the bomb, but a lot of people really like it. But you're not gonna have to twist my arm to get a sandwich, despite me being biased. Let alone when it is a response to people telling me not to go. I'm more of a contrarian. I know men, a lot of people genetically, when it comes to men, are contrarian. I don't want to be told what to do. You tell me not to do something, I'm eventually going to do it. And a lot of that, they're flirting with a culture that's like that, especially Gen Z that's coming up. And so a lot of these tactics, they're going to find out don't work. And boy, they hardly ever work. In fact, statements like these rarely ever work, saying don't go to a place, don't do this. I mean, Nike and stuff, when they burn their shoes, that's more of a personal, like, I'm just not going to be a part of it. But as far as if they were trying to get people to not buy Nike anymore, that'd be stupid, because people are going to buy Nike no matter what. And you don't see people saying Nike should go out of business, at least prominently. The people that disagreed with that, you see people saying, I'm just not going to get it anymore. Like, I went back to my last point, or earlier point, that is more like I'll just opt out, instead of I'm going to take you out. It should be no surprise that Chick-fil-A donates to Christian or conservative-leaning causes, because they work to uphold those values they support. Like any company, really. It's the values you don't like. It's not the method. It's like when people say, we want money out of politics. You really don't. You just want the causes that you're going up against to be weaker. You don't want them to get the finances. It's just like these taxes they're talking about. Oh, we want Trump. We want to demand to get Trump's taxes, or any political opponent's taxes, right? And I'm thinking, you dummies, half of the party of the Democrats don't want that, because then they'd have to show theirs. A lot of people, I see the lobbies that I'm talking about in the left-leaning political movements of society, as that cartoon character saw in the limb off that they're also on. Chick-fil-A is not a single person and cannot vote. The economics is how they change or preserve the culture in the way that they see fit. And that's what it's all about, as I just said. I want to take that vehicle away. It's the same thing with the Johnson Act or Amendment. I think it's Act, whenever they made sure that churches couldn't get their 501c3 or charity right in their forms if they spoke on politics. You know why? Because I know a lot of churches are weak and stuff like that, and I'm more of it's the ideology, relationship with Christ type of thing. But churches can help for people that need to go to be restored and things like that. But you know which way their politics are going to lean, more conservative, because it's based off of the faith. It's more conservative. And so no wonder they would want people like that to be shut up, and they want people like Chick-fil-A and them to be shut up. Even to the point to where if they're just silently giving money, it's none of their business, they'll find out. People even go after Salvation Army, an organization that does great work for the poor, who the left says they care about. They're always talking about the poor. But God forbid they have a religious leaning Salvation Army. The Salvation Army and Chick-fil-A and others are not on the street corner telling you God hates faggots or that you're going to hell for breathing. You don't see them out there doing that. In fact, Chick-fil-A even serves gays and transsexuals and divorcees and the unmarried with children. So it's like with the bakery thing. They're not excluding you from buying their products, which they actually have the right to do that. You should be able to say no blacks, no long hairs, no whatever, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Won't be long till we have somebody that self-identifies as a newly born baby so that they can be naked everywhere. And they'll probably win that. They better be careful with the abortion laws we've got around the country now, except for, say, Alabama and Georgia reacting the way you should. They're probably fighting for 1,000th week abortions. I don't want this 5-year-old. Damn, I forgot they had to start kindergarten. This is expensive. Is it too late to abort it? If you self-identify as a baby in the day's time, you might be running from the needle of an abortionist. But it'd be just up to them if they wanted to take that economic loss, if they wanted to cut half their customers, by saying we're not going to serve you. But they don't. They're just not for something. And it's even more so than the bakery thing, because Chick-fil-A doesn't make wedding cake. So it's even less of a big deal that Chick-fil-A supports traditional marriage, because they serve to everyone. I think I've even seen gays that worked at Chick-fil-A. They may not have said they were gay or people didn't know, but they were there. I used to think that I used to be mad because I wanted to work there, and I thought, I bet they only hire, decent-looking women to run the front, because they're more presentable. And I thought, I just want, to be able to be back there and see how the magic is made. And speaking of taking an economic loss for your principles, Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays. Even this action bothers the people who are already wishing Chick-fil-A would lose money or be closed and don't want to buy from them anyways. It's like the person in the room is berating you, and then they don't want you to be around. Oh, I don't want you to be around. You're such a piece of shit. I don't like you. And then you say, okay, you just leave the room. And then they complain that you left the room and you aren't there to hear them berate you. That's really what it is. And Chick-fil-A is so bigoted they should close down. Already closed down 1 out of 7 days. But it's Sunday. That's for a religious reason. That doesn't count. That's not good enough. They're willfully closing down. We want them shut down against their will. What gets me is that I'm affected by Chick-fil-A's closing on Sunday more than 1% of the population is by their opinions on traditional marriage, which is really just marriage. Back when I was a drinker, I used to say, damn, Sunday is so hard because the ABC store is closed, Chick-fil-A store is closed, and the local music stores are closed around my area to observe, Sunday. So if I broke a string, I was screwed till Monday. Same with running out of spirits, alcohol for a weekend bender on Saturday night. I'd go, damn, I can't order or get liquor. And then for the longest time, you couldn't get beer on a Sunday around where I live. And I never wanted Chick-fil-A more than on a Sunday when it's the calmest day for me and I can scout a good meal and it's closed to observe the faith. Every time I would want it, I would say, God, it's Sunday. You ever heard me saying Chick-fil-A needs to open on Sunday? It'd make more sense than what the gay lobby is trying to get them for. To me, I would say, man, I really want stuff on a Sunday. That's unfair. Yet you don't hear me bitching. You don't hear me screaming that Chick-fil-A should cater to my personal schedule or my opinions to stay open on Sunday just in case I want my chicken sandwich with those banging waffle fries. I respect their operation decisions and use them as a base level to plan accordingly. Around my schedule, if I say I want Chick-fil-A, you automatically need to know, hey, well, I'm not going to be able to do it on Sunday this week. So 6 out of 7 days I could probably have it if you're planning on going to eat it. Chick-fil-A looked like they were going to bend the knee and had floated the idea of giving to an LGBT cause or some shit like that. I find this insulting that the neoliberal order that prides itself on free market is trying to intervene in commerce through means of pressure, which is fascistic, really. I haven't heard for sure if they're going to if they have given to that charity or not, Chick-fil-A. Would it shape the way I look at Chick-fil-A's leadership? Yes, I'm not going to lie. It wouldn't make me want to boycott. I wouldn't boycott as I see it as my reaction would be, wow, the cultural pressure on traditionalists never stops. It would be more of a, wow, damn. And it'd be a testimony of how far the bake the cake bigot rabbit hole we are down, really. One of those things that measure, you'd go, wow, they got Chick-fil-A, the stronghold, type of thing. It wouldn't be I'm never going to Chick-fil-A, they stab me in the back. I would just see it as a damn, if they go after Chick-fil-A, they could go after me. Or anyone, really. And this ultimately boils down to not liking someone, disagreeing with your lifestyle in the most mild way you could do in 2019, donating to a charity and not even bragging about it. Someone goes through your finances to find out who you deal with in efforts to out you publicly and shame you into submission, which is what these lobbies are doing to Chick-fil-A. Or even Americans. You'll see where someone will be running and they'll say, oh, well, look at what he donated to. Look at what he said about marriage back in 2000 something, right? And even people that have changed their mind, it's not good enough. It was a different time. That's not good enough. They have to crawl and grovel on their knees to these same lobbies that people say don't exist, don't have power, can't control whether you get jobs or financial success. And as mentioned in other videos of mine, getting rid of Chick-fil-A will earn you a scalp on the progressive belt, but it won't take away the inner dialogue you have in your body. You're not going to take away that inner dialogue you're having with your homosexuality or your political views or the way you think the world works versus a Chick-fil-A. If Nike were to go out of business because of Kaepernick, people would say, oh, the people that really want it to would say, oh, that's what you get wrecked for making those decisions. Or they might be happy of it, right? But it's still not going to change that there's people out there that have been influenced already by Kaepernick, and the movement that Kaepernick thought he was influenced by to do that is still out there. And it's still going to be that inner conflict. You see what I mean? So it's really not trying to get rid of it so you feel better about being gay or this or that, because Chick-fil-A is not judging you. It's yourself. You're sitting there and you have a problem with someone. You can't censor people in the sense of food is what it basically is. But I just wanted to get that out. I was mulling over it a little bit. It happened in the past week or two, right? But it's a reoccurring thing in the culture war, and it affects a lot of different prongs of what mold my way of thinking and how I look at the world and morality and other things, right? So if you agree, disagree, that's fine. Appreciate you for listening. You guys can follow me on the tags, bruh. Look at them. See? As I said before, political dank house, baby. Chick-fil-A versus cheeky gays. Not all gays, but the ones with the power. So, that's it for me. Hope you guys are creeping it real. Even though it's May, but hop to it. Have a good rest of your weekend.